Simon Sinek always says, start with why, right? And a lot of people over the last, 20 years, 18 years since his TED Talk, start with why, start with why, start with why. Well, I believe that really, let's start with what, right? What do you want? What are you good at, right? What can you do to make a difference?
Hey, this is Nick Armstrong, and you are watching the Founded in FoCo podcast. Every episode, we get to talk to an innovative mover and shaker in our comprehensive, nonprofit, creative, small business, freelancer, entrepreneurship economy. And we are so lucky to be here today with Julie Ulstrup. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Nick. I am delighted to be here.
Tell us about your business.
Well, I'm a photographer, first and foremost. I've been a photographer forever, and my business has grown here in Fort Collins. I am an award-winning portrait photographer, and what I really I specialize in families, business branding, creating images that inspire confidence and credibility and connection so that you, as the person being photographed, can really see the brilliance of who you are, because sometimes we forget that. And we need images of ourselves that are really attractive so that other people can see who we are and see what we offer.
The difference between personal photography that I've had over a number of years and the different aspects of my personality I either chose to highlight or that the photographer encouraged me to highlight in the moment are striking. And so, how do you express your personality in one still frame?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the so I have a system that I use, and I've called it the STARS system. It's my proprietary system, and what I do is I start with a Zoom call and get to know my clients a little bit. Often I know them a little bit already, but I ask some really kind of piercing questions about who you are, how your friends see you, what would other people say about you, because sometimes, maybe all the time, we're so close to ourselves that we can't really even articulate. So I have a series of questions and just getting to know people to help them figure that out. I have 20 years of experience as a school counselor working with high schoolers and middle schoolers, also at the university level. So I have a lot of experience in getting people to share who they are and, really find out more about them.
How did you first get into photography?
Oh my gosh. Well, in high school, so it's been a minute. And even before that, really, my grandparents, like when my mom graduated from college, they owned a camera store. And I have always, since high school, been fascinated with photography. And I had a brilliant teacher, which probably is what inspired me to go into education. He also taught at the Art Institute of Chicago. So I learned from him and just was inspired ever since then. However, I didn't really know how I could do that to make a living and make a difference for people, which is really important to me.
On an earlier episode of the podcast, we talked with Shannon Hernandez, who also was a teacher, and talked about the idea of the importance of teachers as those guideposts in your life. If you have a great teacher, that may be where you make a turn in your life. If you're a poor teacher, you may not decide on that as a course of action. It makes all the difference. What was something that you brought forward from your experience in having a great teacher to connecting in schools yourself and then bringing that forward to your day-to-day work now?
Well, this teacher that I had, my photography teacher, so I grew up in suburban Chicago. I had this very, idyllic suburban middle class kind of life. And he really encouraged me to look at things differently. We would take these field trips down to Chicago and go to the Art Institute, and we'd look at these photographs. And so really changing the way I see the world through my camera lens. Then fast forward to me becoming an educator, really helping students, like I said, middle school through university level, change the way they think about or they see things. I was a school counselor. So, having those deep conversations with people about, well, what does that mean to you? And how does that, how does that resonate? And then bringing that forward into my photography it has really been quite an interesting journey, but it's really to get people interested in some reflection of how they see themselves and helping them see themselves through this lens, like a physical lens on a camera, through a lens of love and through a lens of brilliance in knowing that at our core, we all have something to share while we are here on the planet, and really highlighting that and accentuating that and showing the world what that is, because I believe that's why we're here, to show up.
Part image consultant, part guidance counselor.
Yes,
I
yes,
love
you
it.
nailed it. That's right.
What do your clients look like right now? Like, what does the session look like? How do you set that up for them? What does that entail?
Well, I have a studio here in Fort Collins, and I also, on my property, I've got I mean, right now it's winter, but well, actually, right, sometimes people love having snowy photographs. So what we do is we start with that consultation, like I said, and then we talk about clothing. They would come to my studio. We, obviously have a scheduled time, and there's a lot of conversation. It's a lot of getting people to open up and to find out what is it that you want? What do you want how do you want to see your family if your family is going to be part of your picture? If I do engagement sessions, I do high school seniors. So it's very customized, and yet I do have this system and this process to really make it a smooth process to help people feel comfortable, because being in front of a camera can be really, really vulnerable.
What are you going to be talking about at Founded in FoCo? Because you've got such this great breadth of experience. I would love to let's dive into that. What's your session looking like at Founded in FoCo?
Well, I really love that you asked that, because this is something that's been in the works for me for several years. So it's Kung Fu Clarity for Connection. And I have been a martial arts student for almost 10 years now. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that journey, my journey as an entrepreneur, and my journey as a martial arts student, and the lessons that I've learned in martial arts, and how I've brought those through my entrepreneur journey, and how others can also use some of those lessons that I've learned. I'm going to be bringing my sword with me, which is a non-dangerous sword. And I'm going to be doing my sword form for the people who attend my session, which is exciting. And it's the first time I've done it in public. So it is a little bit nervous. I'll love to have a lot of energy, great energy around me for the presentation.
Having taken Taekwondo for a number of years and attempted the smallest bit of a sword form, my goodness, what a what a show that's going to be. I can't wait to see it. Tell me about what informed your, because you have this depth of experience. The choice for using kung fu as a metaphor for some of these business lessons. What was the pathway for that?
So for me, Kung Fu has been this journey of, self-discovery and growing myself as well as my business, which I believe, when we choose to become entrepreneurs, it's a privilege to be able to be an entrepreneur. Um, we get to grow personally as well as professionally, and Kung Fu is one of the things that has really helped me to grow personally and professionally in really big and ways that I never expected. Again, I'll share a little bit about my start with Kung Fu, how and why I did it. It makes me laugh now, and I'm still a practitioner 10 years later. So it's been a great journey.
What's a lesson from your kung fu journey that you want to bring forward into business, and what give us a sneak peek about what might happen at the
All right, I'll
session?
give a little bit of a sneak peek. Well, one of the things is, Simon Sinek always says, start with why, right? And a lot of people over the last, 20 years, 18 years since his TED Talk, start with why, start with why, start with why. Well, I believe that really, let's start with what, right? What do you want? What are you good at, right? What can you do to make a difference? And so that's one of the pieces. And like when I started learning my sword form, it was like, okay, what do I need to do? I mean, first thing I need to do is I need to decide that I'm going to do it, right? So it's that starting with what, and that's one of the things that for me with my Kung Fu practice has really been instrumental in being able to. I've been practicing this form now for about 2 years, and so me making that decision, what do I want? What am I good at? Right? What are my gifts to share with the world?
A question I often ask our speakers is, how would I know if I am building my schedule for Founded in FoCo that this is the session for me? Who do you want to see in the room?
I want to see people who are curious about building their personal and their professional development because my hands are together for those who are listening who can't see. We don't separate those. They go together hand in hand, and personal growth and professional growth. When we move up the scale, move up the ladder, change happens. And so growing our personal and professional lives is that's who I want. I want to see people who are excited about growing their personal and professional lives to make the world a better place, to make Fort Collins a better place.
You've been involved with Founded in FoCo for a number of years. What's something that stuck with you across all of that time?
Oh my gosh, the people, the greatest people. We just have such a great community, and I feel so honored to be part of it. And thank you so much for being at the helm and really making it happen. And all of the people, I know it's a huge effort to bring it together. And I just am so appreciative and so honored to be part of it. So yeah, great people.
We have an organizing committee of 25 who are all helping to bring this event together at the Fort Collins Senior Center from March 10th to March 13th. We cannot wait to see you there. There are tickets that you can snag online. Pay what you can. Don't feel compelled to pay the full ticket price if that's not in your means right now. We want you in the room. Don't feel bad about taking a pay what you can ticket if you need to. We are launching, our schedule's already launched. It's up there on the website. You can build it out now. I would say go big with your schedule. Put on things that you wouldn't normally necessarily think to attend or might be tangential to your functional area, and surprise yourself. You have time to whittle down later. You can always narrow your scope and focus, but the best part of going to Founded in FoCo, we said, is the community. Getting to connect with fellow entrepreneurs and putting yourself in a room where you might not necessarily have made that connection otherwise is always a good bet. Julie, do you have any words of wisdom for someone attending Founded in FoCo the first time?
Well, I would say, I mentioned this earlier, go curious. Go, attend and be curious, and similar to what you said, sign up for things that you may not consider signing up for, but be curious about the people you meet and the concepts, and ask questions and be open. And it's a great event. That's my advice.
Where can we find out more about you and your business, Julie?
My website is julieulstrup.com.
Awesome. Super simple.
Super simple. Yep.
And
I'm going to be inviting my Kung Fu sisters and brothers to attend too. So we might have my school's in Longmont that I go to. So I'm asking my teacher today if I can post something there. So there might be a migration from the South to come up to Founded in FoCo.
Feel safer already. We'll put out the mats and start a scuffle. It'll be great. Julie, thank you so much for joining us today, and we cannot wait to see you at Founded in FoCo again, March 10th through 13th, not Friday, because it's the Friday before spring break. We want to make sure you get off on that plane on the right foot, so enjoy your vacation. But first, come to Founded in FoCo, learn a ton about your business and how to connect inside the community. We cannot wait to see you there. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Nick Armstrong, and this is a Founded in FoCo podcast. For more great interviews like this one, join us at foundedinfoco.com.